Hey everyone, Emily here again from Yoga Locally, setting up for this class. If you have props at home for your yoga practice, I would recommend that you get those. We are going to start in a supported fish posture to help open up the upper spine and come into a gentle supported back bend to open up this practice. So I'm setting my blocks up like this. If you have books at home, that should also work, or a bolster or some cushions. You can get creative with what you have. But basically, the setup that I'm looking for here is to have the upper chest and the area underneath the lungs supported by a block, and then the head and the neck, just behind the crown of the head, is supported either by a block and a blanket or a cushion, so that we're looking for the neck is in line with the spine, and again, the chest is supported so you have that bend in the upper spine. This should feel really comfortable, and this should be a nice, easy posture to settle into the body and settle into the breath and find your deep ujjayi breath that will guide you through your practice. If you'd like, you can grab opposite elbows and lift the arms above the head here and keep the legs nice and long and straight. And again, what we're doing right now is settling into the body. If you'd like, you could bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees go out wide to help open up the hips. That might feel good. But wherever you are, really come to fully embody this time and the space that you've given yourself for this home practice. Stay here for as long as you need to. You can pause the video. I would encourage you to do so if you want to take more time to create the energetic space to settle into your practice. Otherwise, you can move the props aside and then come into a child's pose, any child's pose that feels good, as a nice counter stretch to supported fish. I'm going to take the knees out wide here and let my chest go in between the legs, really dropping the heart space towards the mat. Palms are down. Again, using your deep ujjayi breath. And then when you're ready, slide forward. We're going to go into some cat-cows to transition out of child's pose. Inhaling to lift the crown and to arch the back, and then as you exhale, roll the tailbone forward, really push the mat away with the hands, and then flow through those two shapes on the inhale and on the exhale at your own speed. Inhale, rise and lift to drop the belly, lift the crown. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, move vertebrae by vertebrae to push the mat away. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, curl in. Take a few more of those, however that feels good, and when you're ready to transition, we're going to flow right back to child's pose, and then bring the arms out to the right. Long stretch in the left side body. Have the left hip be nice and heavy here to root the body down, root the weight down. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back through center and take them over to the left. This time, a nice, beautiful reach and long energy in the right side. And then when you're ready, you walk the hands back through center, slide forward, staying low to the ground and coming onto the belly. Reach the arms alongside the body, squeeze the legs together and lift the chest, lift the torso, lift the legs, coming to Shalabhasana, grasshopper pose. Breathe deeply here. Keep everything lifted. Continue to breathe. And then when you're ready, you can exhale and release down. Shake out the lower back by shaking out the hips. Bring the palms alongside the breastbone and push up through push-up to plank pose, and then send it right back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here. Bring the chest in towards the thighs. Let the belly drop. Do what you need to do to warm up your downward facing dog. Again, just taking this time, the first few moments of your practice to really just come into the body in any way that makes sense. When you're ready, we'll roll forward to plank pose and then quickly roll through, come onto the left side, come through a quick side plank. I just do these to help warm up my shoulders here. Go through the left and the right side, rolling through them, keeping these active. Letting my hand windmill around to help open up my shoulders. And then when you're ready, come back to plank pose. Lower down through chaturanga, hovering 2 inches above the mat. Push back up to plank through push-up, and then send it back to downward facing dog. Take the feet wide this time, so the feet are on the outside, beyond the outside of the mat. And then send the chest back and rock the body from side to side to begin to warm up the hips here in this wide downward facing dog. Good. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Maybe take yogi toe lock if that feels good, and then just move from side to side, bending one leg at a time. I'm bringing the hands to my thighs here, pushing my legs away to have some extension in between the vertebrae in my torso, and then coming into a deep forward fold from here. I'm heel toeing my feet back together. Take a bend in the knees so that the torso lays on top of the thigh bones, and then release down in our first deep forward fold. When you're ready, you will walk the hands forward to the top of the mat to come into your plank pose. We're going to return one more time to these quick side planks, coming onto the right side first and then the left side, windmilling the hand right around just to help to open up the shoulders. And then after you've done a couple of those, we'll come through to our push-up again, so roll forward to plank, lower down through chaturanga to stay 2 inches above the mat, and then push right back up, and then eventually finding your way to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk the feet forward to your forward fold. Push against the legs to rise and lift here, find space in the vertebrae, and then bend the knees once you come into your forward fold. And go ahead and give yourself a little hug here. Place the torso on top of the thigh bones. Shaking the head yes and no to release any tension that might be in the neck. And then as you're hugging your knees, again with legs bent, you can work towards straightening the legs if it feels good. Otherwise, we'll come back to a deep bend in the knees, reach the arms back, and then keep the bend. Inhale, rise to awkward chair pose. On the next inhale, go ahead and rise and lift to standing, and exhale, palms at heart center, coming to Tadasana. Dip the fingertips under, inhale, reach the arms up overhead, exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to lift halfway, exhale, deep forward fold. We'll step the left leg back and then the right leg, returning to your plank pose. From plank, we'll lower down through knees, chest, and chin first. Inhale, rise to a low cobra with palms hovering, and then exhale, push back nice and strong to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we'll come right onto our hands and knees one more time, continuing our warm-up sequence, move through some cat-cow breathing. Inhale, rise and lift the crown. Exhale, curling everything and under and pushing the mat away. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, push the mat away. We're going to come into tiger curls, so lift the right hand and the left leg, and then inhale to rise and lift. Exhale, curl the everything in to have the elbow meet the knee. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, come on and curl in. Inhale, rise and lift. Exhale, curl in, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbow to knee. Move at your own speed here, or however feels good. I'm going to go for about 10 of these total. So count them out, but really just match your motion to breath here. When you have about 10, go ahead and keep everything lifted, and then take the right hand out to the side and the left leg out to the left side. Awkward airplane. Fire up the core. And then when you're ready, after 3 breaths, come back through center. I'm going to now root my right hand down, and my right leg is pivoted out just a little bit for stability. I'm going to lift my left leg and my left hand. Again, continuing to fire up the core. And then we're going to do some oblique crunches where I'm going to bring my left elbow to my left knee. On the exhale and then inhale, reach and lift. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach and lift. Exhale, curl in. Again, go for about 10 of these on this side. So I'm having these left-sided oblique crunches here. Count them out, but just match your breath to motion. And then when you're ready, once you've gone through, going to go ahead and just release down to hands and knees. Tabletop position, go ahead and roll out if that feels good. Otherwise, we're pressing right back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and press it on back to shake it out. We'll step the feet forward to the hands. Inhale, rise and lift halfway. Take a deep bend in the knees, reach the arms back. Inhale, awkward chair pose. Utkatasana. Hold for about 3 breaths, and then straighten the legs, reach up to standing. Then exhale, bring the palms down through heart center. Dip the fingertips under. Inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. We're going to step the feet back, starting with the right leg, then the left leg to plank pose. From plank, we'll drop down for knees, chest, and chin. Slide forward to a low cobra, lifting the palms, and then exhale nice and strong again, push it back to downward facing dog. Good. From downward facing dog, we're going to come back to our hands and knees. We're going to do the same sequence that we did on the other side, but on the left side this time. So it will take a few moments to move through some cat-cow breaths. Go for about 4 of these. Again, reaching the crown on the inhale, and then the exhale, we're pushing through. Lifting the left hand and the right leg this time. Inhale to reach and rise. Exhale, bring the knee to elbow. Inhale, reach and rise. Exhale, knee to elbow. Moving through about 10 of these tiger curls. And move at your own speed. And as you're flowing through this, really engage your core, because the core stability here is going to be what's important. It's going to keep your balance and keep the integrity of moving through these postures. Good. And once you've gone 10, we're going to take the left arm out to the left side at 90 degrees, bring the right leg forward to about 90 degrees, holding for 3 breaths, awkward airplane. And when you're ready, after those breaths, we'll come back to this lifted position. I'm rooting now to the left hand, and the left leg are on the mat. Left leg is pivoted out to have a little bit of balance. Lift the right leg and the right hand, and then set up for your oblique crunches on the side. Again, on the inhale, we reach with the arm and the leg, and as we exhale, we curl on in, bringing elbow to knee. Same as on the other side. Go for about 10 of these. Trying to stay as horizontal and as plane-like as you can. So in between 2 panes of glass. Really focusing and targeting the side body and the obliques, which might not be getting a whole lot of attention these days. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to tabletop. Go through and shake out the body, roll through some barrel rolls just to help release any tension to neutralize the body. We'll press it right on back to downward facing dog from tabletop. And from our downward facing dog, we're going to move into a moon salute sequence. So when you're ready on your next inhale, go ahead and rise and lift the right leg up, and then exhale, step it through to the palms. Inhale, rise to a high lunge. Exhale, step the left foot forward, forward folding over the legs. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the arms up, come on up to standing, and exhale, fold over the legs once more. We'll step the right leg back and inhale to a high lunge, right leg nice and straight, and then plant the palms down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, come on down through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, rise to a low cobra, and exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. We'll lift the left leg this time on the inhale. Exhale, send it through. Inhale to high lunge. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, take a bend in the knees, sweep the arms up, look up, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs once more. We'll step the left leg back and inhale to a high lunge when you're ready, and then plant the palms down, step the right leg back, press it back to downward facing dog. We'll roll forward to plank, come on down through knees, chest, and chin on the exhale, and then inhale, rise to low cobra. Coming back eventually on the exhale to downward facing dog. Good, we'll go through it one more time. So inhale the right leg up. Exhale, send it through the palms. Inhale, rise to a high lunge. Exhale, left foot meets right over the legs, forward folding. Take a bend in the legs as you sweep the arms through on the inhale, reach and lift, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs once more. We'll step the right leg back and inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms down, step the left foot back, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, rise to a low cobra, and exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step the left leg through to the palms. Inhale, rise to a high lunge, and then exhale, right foot meets left, forward folding. Inhale, rise and lift to standing, and then exhale, send it back on through your forward fold. We'll step the left leg back and then inhale to a high lunge when you're ready. Plant the palms down, step the right leg back, press it back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, rise to a low cobra, and exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. Good. From downward facing dog, we're going to step forward to our forward fold at the top of the mat. Coming back to our awkward chair pose, to reach the arms back, take a bend in the knees and inhale, rise and lift. Holding awkward chair, and then eventually straightening the legs, making your way to standing pose. Press the palms together. Dip the fingertips under. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale, reach and rise up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to a flat back. And then take the legs wide here. You can go ahead and shift onto your mat. We're gonna just cool down, let the heart rate slow down a little bit by coming into this wide-legged straddle fold. I'm interlacing the hands behind my back here and just letting gravity have a little bit of extra weight on my head to help release. And then we're going to come into a twist when you're ready. So I have my right hand coming to my left ankle. The left hand can come to the sacrum, stacking shoulders. When you're ready, come back through center and then take the twist on the other side as it feels good. Only go into this as deeply as it feels good for your body, for your practice. Nice. Come back through center, straighten the spine by lengthening. And then we're going to go to the other side, again to the right side. And go ahead and hug your leg. I'm going to warm up the hamstrings here. Should feel like it's a big stretch in the hip. And then we'll take it to the other side and just, again, wrap your arms around the other leg like it's a tree. Give it a hug. Releasing the head and the neck here, letting gravity take over. Good. Come on back through center when you're ready. Come onto the knees, largely keeping the feet where they are. We're going to come into Mendukasana, frog pose. So I'm on the knees, and then I'm going to come onto my elbows or my forearms. It might feel good to straighten the arms here, or you can just stay propped up again on the forearms. Yogi's choice, whatever feels good. This should be a nice, easy, gentle opening of the hips. Stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, begin to prop yourself up. Return to standing into your wide-legged forward fold here. Then we're going to flow into Skandasana next. I'm going to do so by bending the right knee very deeply, coming onto the right toes, balancing on the left heel, and then pointing the left toes back towards the face. So I'm going to flow from this shape, Skandasana, into Warrior Two. And I'm going to do that by shifting the weight into my left leg, by engaging my core, bring my arms to a T, inhaling and then rising up. That's a little bit funny and it takes some getting used to. But from this Warrior Two position, I'm going to go ahead and inhale to reverse warrior, taking a nice deep bend in the front leg. And then windmill the arms back down, coming into the low lunge. The wind is blowing. And then eventually stepping my left foot back to plank pose, lowering down through full chaturanga. Go ahead and inhale to upward facing dog, and then exhale, roll over the toes, press it back to downward facing dog. Good. I step my left foot forward this time, returning to our wide-legged forward fold. Now I'm going to take a deep bend in the left leg, coming into Skandasana on the other side. So I'm balancing on my right heel, and my right toes are flexed back to point back towards the face. Using that contact with my elbow on the bent knee to open up that hip stretch a little bit more. And then just like we did on the other side, I'm going to open up to Warrior Two by shifting the weight. Nice. And then moving towards the left-handed open side. Inhale to reverse your warrior on the left side. Side opens. Again, the right leg is forward this time. And then exhale. Go ahead and windmill the arms down. Coming into your low lunge. Stepping the left foot forward to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise and lift. And then inhale. We're going to inhale to awkward chair pose, Utkatasana one more time, holding for 3 breaths. And then go ahead and inhale, reach up and exhale, bring the palms down through heart center. Hook the thumbs, dip the fingertips under, inhale, rise and lift, and then exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, rise halfway to a flat back, and exhale, plant the palms down, step back to plank pose, lower down through full chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, send it back, press it back to downward facing dog. Good. We'll go ahead and inhale the right leg up, step the right foot forward. Inhale to Warrior One. Exhale, open it up to Warrior Two. Inhale to reverse warrior. And then exhale, come on back to Warrior Two. This time, bring the palms down through heart center, and then we're going to come right back into Skandasana like we did before. So again, if you wanted to pause that and look how we did it, from Warrior Two, we open right up into Skandasana with the left leg bent. This time, I'm going to open up the wingspan here, letting that opening of the shoulders help by leveraging that knee open even just a little bit more. Good. Deepening the twist, and then inhale, rise and lift just like we did on the other side to Warrior Two. Windmill the hands down. Stepping back to plank pose, lowering down through full chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog, facing the back edge of your mat. And then exhale, step it back to downward facing dog. Good. We'll lift the left leg this time, stepping the left leg on through. Inhale to Warrior One. Exhale, open up to Warrior Two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, tip it on back. Bring the palms through heart center, straighten the legs, and then begin to deeply bend the right knee to come into Skandasana on this side. Again, we're revisiting Skandasana. I do like to revisit postures multiple times because you can feel how differently they might show up and serve the body. So just like last time, I'm opening up the wingspan here, stacking the shoulders. And then when you're ready, just like we did on the other side, lifting, engaging the core, coming back to warrior two, and then stepping it through to forward fold, flowing through and evening out your vinyasa. We're going to correct our position on the mat just by opening up into Prasarita Padottanasana one more time, stepping the left leg out and forward. And this is a good time to practice our crow position. We haven't done that in a little while. I like to do this variation, setting up for crow, by stepping on with my toes and using the block here. So the knees are going to come right to the base of the biceps, right on top of the elbows, or just a little bit above the elbows. And then using the block already gets you a little bit of that height that you need to achieve for crow to work. You can try it with or without, yogi's choice. Again, use a stack of books if you don't have a block, and then feel free to just pause the video here if you'd like to work on crow or any other inversions right now. Returning to your Prasarita Padottanasana. Once again, I'm just going to do this. I'm actually just helping to release my shoulders here by giving myself a little bit of a shoulder massage. I think that the added gravity on the head and the neck here is really good for the body. And then we're just going to shift through back so we're facing the front of our mat, returning to our forward fold. Inhale to reverse swan dive, and then exhale, bring the palms to heart center. We'll dip the fingertips under, hook the thumbs, reach up, arch back on the inhale, and exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to rise halfway, exhale, fold. Step it back to plank pose. We'll hold here in plank and then shift to Vashisthasana on the right side. This time, if you can, bring the left foot to the inside edge of the right thigh, coming into this tree pose variation. We're going to flow through a little bit of a challenge core pose here. So keeping that contact with the foot and the leg, I'm going to place my left hand back down. Keep that knee lifted as then you shift to lift the right hand. And then once you've switched sides, go ahead and extend the left leg. So again, the benefit of a video is that you can pause that and rewind it. I'm going to come out of that and unwind just like I came in, but this time, once you return to Vashisthasana, then flow and open up into your wild thing pose if that's in your practice. Good. We're going to come back, keep that knee tucked in and under as you switch the hands. So place the left palm down, open up the right hand, extend the bottom leg, and then roll right back on through. Once you return to downward facing dog, inhale to lift the left leg, and then just shake out any of that tension. Roll forward to plank, lower down through full chaturanga, inhale to upward facing dog, and then exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Good, we'll lift the right leg this time. And then from that lifted leg, rolling right open into Vashisthasana, this time rooted in the left hand and the left foot. I'm going to lift my right leg and place the right sole of my foot onto the left thigh. Keep that contact here as again you bring your right hand down to the mat. Begin to twist and curl under and then lift the left hand. This time my right bottom leg is the one that's going to extend. Engage the core to make this happen. Keep that leg lifted. Point the toes. Keep it nice and straight. Plant both palms down. Swivel back to where you originally were with Vashisthasana. Yeah, mind the balance. And then bring the right foot behind you, open up to wild thing posture. We're going to roll through that one more time, spiraling through, rooting in the right hand, lift the left hand, lift the right leg, and then flip it right on back, this time inhaling, reaching the right foot up high. Exhale, place it down. Roll forward to plank pose. Exhale, lower down through full chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. We'll come back to tabletop position. We'll roll through a couple cat-cows. Inhaling and exhaling, matching breath to motion here. Inhale, lift the right arm and the left leg, and then reach for that left foot, kicking back. This bow variation. Good. Go ahead and release that gently. Take a couple barrel rolls just to help loosen up the shoulders. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees a couple inches above the mat. Engage the low belly. Stay nice and solid as you keep the knees lifted. And then exhale, push it back to downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Exhale, release through chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, push it back to downward facing dog. Coming back to the knees once more, tabletop position. 3 rounds of cat-cow breathing at your own speed. And then we'll lift the left arm up this time and the right leg. And I mixed up my sides. And then when you're ready, go ahead and reach for that back foot. Mind the balance. Kick that back leg open so that it opens up the shoulders here. Enjoying a little bit of a twist at the same time that you get a really rich back bend. Good. And when you're ready, release down, shake the shoulders out. We're going to go ahead and just kick it back to a child's pose. Take the knees nice and wide here. And swaying my body back and forth to help release. Might feel nice to revisit this side stretch where you walk your hands over to the right side. Hang out here for as long as you'd like, and then when you're ready to transition, walk them back through center and take them over to the left side. Good. Turning back through center, we're going to transition now from tabletop just to a seated position, and then we're going to take a couple of these rolls on the back. So I'm going to bring my hands to behind the knees, just going to help to release the lower back by keeping the knees in towards the chest and rolling. Easy rolling, nothing to it. And then the next time you come to lift, you come to roll forward, hold it in boat pose, Navasana. So again, I'm engaging my core, my arms are reaching forward, palms are upward in a gesture of surrender. You can choose to have the legs straight here and the toes pointed, or you can bend at the knees. It's yogi's choice, wherever you want to go with it. You have about 5 breaths in Navasana, and then reach in between the legs to take yogi toe lock with the 2 front big toes. Hold here, the spine is nice and straight, and then begin to slowly widen the legs apart to where it feels comfortable. So you're going to be in this elevated straddle. Hold in yogi toe lock. Slowly, slowly bring the feet back together. Release yogi toe lock, point the toes, keep them lifted, and then we're slowly, slowly, inch by inch, lowering down through banana pose, keeping everything lifted, toes are pointed, and then eventually go ahead and release. Windshield wiper the legs from side to side to just help release the lower back here. And speaking of releasing the lower back, might also be good to bring the right ankle just to the bottom of the left knee. Hug the left knee in towards the chest like this, so my arm is weaving through, and just rock from side to side here. We're just going to cool it down a little bit. Root our practice back down to something restorative and easy, gentle. Shake the head back from side to side to release any potential neck tension. And then when you're ready to shift onto the other side, left-sided reclined pigeon, just bring the left ankle just below the right knee. Hug the right knee in towards the chest. Again, rocking gently here from side to side. And then when you're ready, go ahead and straighten the legs. You can flex them back towards the face. Gentle reclined hamstring stretch here. And then we'll slowly rock up once more to a seated position. Staff pose, Dandasana, this time straighten the legs. Flex the toes right back towards the face. Then again, I'm going to take Yogi Toe Lock here. Just like we were before, now we're in a seated position. I'm going to use that Yogi Toe Lock grip to help bring my chest forward. Ragdoll over the legs. Go ahead and shake out the head and neck to release any tension. Big hamstring stretch. Stay here in this deep forward fold, this deep hamstring stretch for as long as feels good. When you're ready, we're going to flow into reverse plank. So I'm bringing my hands just behind my hips, fingertips facing forward, lift the hips. Keep the neck in line with the spine here. Hold and breathe. Opening up in the pectoral muscles, continue to breathe and hold. And then your next exhale, go ahead and release down, forward folding right into Dandasana, staff pose one more time, revisiting your deep forward fold. Good. We'll tuck the ankles in under, crossing at the ankles, rolling forward to plank pose, lowering down through chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. We're just transitioning out through a vinyasa. And we'll step the right foot forward. Inhale to a flat back. Inhale, reverse swan dive over the legs. Exhale, come to standing. Dip the fingertips under. Inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, forward fold over the legs one more time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. We'll step the left leg back, then the right back, coming into plank pose. Lowering down through full chaturanga. This time I'm going to take my right hand, my right arm out at an angle and then rolling open. So I'm opening my left side to have this deep stretch in the right pectoral muscles, which we just stretched in reverse Dandasana. I'm going to take this bow variation, which since the theme of this class is back bends, we're going to work on that theme, but take any other variation that feels good for your body here. And again, these two poses, we're just going to move on to the other side next. So these two poses might feel really, really good for the body right now. And I would encourage you to just pause the video if you need to hang out in this beautiful, gorgeous twist, back bend, pectoral stretch. I like to spend a lot of time here, so I would encourage that you do too. Otherwise, whenever you're ready, you're going to do the same, opening up the left arm this time and then rolling over onto the left, opening up the right side body, coming into this optional back bend variation. So again, stay here for as long as you need. Otherwise, we're going to come out of it just by rolling back onto our belly and then setting up for full bow pose. So reaching for both ankles behind the body, and then inhale, lift to kick the legs back. And by kicking the legs back, you open up the shoulders. Continue to breathe here. Hold for 5 breaths if you can, breathing deeply. Continuing to kick back. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release down. Place a cheek on the mat. You might want to windshield wiper the legs to help release the lower back. Bring the palms alongside either lung. Squeeze the legs together and then push the arms up. Nice, coming into full push-up. And then from plank pose, kick it back to downward facing dog. Nice and deep downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Lower down one more time through full chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, send it back down to downward facing dog. Come onto the knees. This time we're going to set up for puppy pose to help release the shoulders. So keep the hips lifted. Don't send them back like you would in child's pose. Tent the fingertips and then let the heart space drop towards the mat. The chin can come to the mat. Really full, deep release of the shoulders. Slide forward from here onto our bellies once more. We're going to set up for Sphinx pose and then Bakasana. So with Sphinx pose, my elbows are directly underneath the shoulders. I'm releasing all of the engaged muscles in my butt and in my legs, and instead really just focusing on pulling the heart space towards the front edge of the mat and then lifting through the shoulders. I'm going to pivot my left arm in towards at about 45 degrees in, and then come into half Bakasana. So I'm bringing my fingers to my right foot, and then bending my foot down, big stretch for the quad muscles. Keep that top elbow lifted, and then work towards squaring the chest off towards the front edge of the mat. Whenever you're ready to flow out, go ahead and release. Pivot the right hand in at about 45 degrees, bringing the left toes this time to the left foot, pushing the left toes down and then squaring the chest in towards the front edge of the mat. Again, this time really stretching the left quadricep. Breathe deeply here. Continue to lift the chest. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back onto our bellies, place the hands alongside the chest, push right back up to plank, and then send it back to downward facing dog. We'll flow through a vinyasa, optional vinyasa if you'd like to even out the body. You can also just stay in downward facing dog at this point in your practice, or come back to child's pose at any time if you need a rest. Or here again, you can join me and going through a full vinyasa at your own speed. Setting up for our next sequence, Yogi's Choice. Wherever you are from downward facing dog, we'll come to plank. We're going to just do these hip drops, so letting the hips drop from side to side, from the left side to the right side. Go for about 3 of these on each side if you can, or more. I really like that twist that they give. And on your last one, make sure to really just graze the mat with your hips, deepening that twist. Lower down through full chaturanga when you're done. Inhale to upward facing dog. And then lower back down onto the belly. This time we're going to come into bow pose one more time. So grabbing the ankles behind the body. Inhale to kick the legs back, open up the shoulders. Hold for 5 breaths if you can. Keep breathing deeply. Keep kicking the legs back to open up the shoulders. Good. And when you're done with that, go ahead and release down, shaking the legs out, bringing the opposite cheek to the mat here. Good. From here, we're going to move into another set of moon salute sequences. So from the belly, push it back nice and strong to downward facing dog. Inhale when you're ready to lift the right leg up overhead, and then exhale, send the right foot through to the palms. Keep the back heel lifted as you inhale to high lunge. Exhale, step the left foot forward, interlace hands behind the back, forward fold. Take a deep bend in the knees, sweep the arms up, hook thumbs, reach up, arch back, and exhale, forward fold over the legs one more time. We'll step the right leg back and then inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms down, step the left foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop down to knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to rise to low cobra, and then exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, this time step it through to the palms. Inhale, rising to a high lunge. Exhale, right foot meets left, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, rise to sweep open, and then exhale, fold over the legs one more time. Step the left foot back and inhale to a high lunge. When you're ready, plant the palms down, step the right foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop down through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to a low cobra, and then exhale, push it back to downward facing dog. One more time. So when you're ready, we'll lift the right leg up, and then exhale, step it through to the palms. Inhale, rise to a high lunge, and then exhale, left foot meets right, forward folding over the legs. Take a deep bend in the knees, sweep the arms up, hook thumbs, reach up, arch back, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs one more time, interlacing hands behind the back. We'll step the right leg back and then inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms down, step the left foot back and press it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop down through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to a low cobra, and exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. We'll lift the left leg whenever you're ready. On the inhale, and then exhale, send it through the palms. Inhale, rise to a high lunge, and then exhale, right foot meets left, forward fold. Inhale to lift. Exhale, forward fold over the legs, interlacing hands behind the back. We'll step the left leg back this time to inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, plant the palms down, step the right leg back to a downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop through knees, chest, and chin. And then inhale, rise to a low cobra. Exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg whenever you're ready. Last one. Exhale, send it through the palms, and then inhale to a high lunge. Exhale, left foot meets right, forward folding over the legs. Take a deep bend in the knees as you inhale, rise and lift to standing, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs one more time. Step the right leg back, and then inhale to a high lunge. Plant the palms down, left foot meets right, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale to roll forward to plank. Exhale, drop through knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to a low cobra, and then exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up overhead, and then exhale, step the left foot to the hands, inhaling to high lunge. Exhale, right foot meets left, forward fold over the legs. Take a deep bend in the knees as you inhale to rise and lift, and then exhale, forward fold over the legs one more time. We'll step the left leg back when you're ready to a high lunge, and then exhale, step the right leg back, pressing back to downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. This time, stay in plank. Maybe do some opposite side shoulder taps. We're just keeping the heat building. I know this is a little exercisey, but we're all in quarantine and it's spring. So we'll just build heat, get buff for all the yard work we're doing. Just opposite side shoulder taps. Go for 20 if you can. 2 sets is 1. And then when you're ready, roll down through chaturanga. Inhaling to a full upward facing dog this time, and then exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. Good. We'll take it down a little bit after that heat building sequence. I'm going to come into a wide-legged seated straddle pose. So take this as far as would feel comfortable for you. No need to push it. We didn't do a whole lot of hip opening stuff, but we did enough. I'm going to twist open to the right. And through this twist, I'm squaring my shoulders towards my right leg, and my right toes are pointing back towards my face. I'm going to slide my left arm down, bring my left shoulder in towards my left knee, and then open and spiral my right rib cage up towards the ceiling, reaching for my left toes with my right hand. Whether or not you make that contact is not really what's important here, but it's more so that reach of energy. We're going to come right back through center, twist towards the left to transition out of it. So my shoulders are now moving and being squared towards my left foot, left toes pointing back towards the face. I'm going to slide my right hand down, bring my right shoulder in towards my right knee, and then reach for my right toes with my left hand. Again, whether or not you make contact there is irrelevant, but it's about spiraling open that left rib cage so that the shoulders are open here, the torso is open, and then you have a big stretch in the SI joint. Keep reaching and breathing, and then come back through center to release. This time, I'm going to take a bend in my right knee, and I'm going to reach underneath my hips to make contact with my right ankle with my left hand. You could kind of rewind that and see how it all happened. But this is a variation on what we just did. Again, I'm going to reach for my left toes with my right top hand, but spiral open the shoulders and the rib cage here so you can look out past your armpit. Hold there for a few breaths. Go for 5 if you can. And then to come back, keep that right knee bent. Just bring the legs together and then begin to recline. You can stay propped up here. Bring the left foot on the mat here with the left knee bent if you'd like. This will help to ease the postures. You can also choose to keep that left knee or that left leg straight. And then you can stay propped up on the elbows, or if it's feeling good, you can come back fully onto the mat. So there are a number of options here for Virasana, hero pose. You can bring the left knee in towards the chest. You can straighten the left leg. That's really big. That's a really big stretch. And unless you're super bendy, that might not feel great. Again, you can come fully onto the back, or you can stay propped up on the elbows, or you can flow in between. But wherever you are, play with these different variations that will have this posture should feel restful and relaxing, but also very engaging in the right quadricep. To come out of it, we're going to prop ourselves up wherever you are to reclined. Go ahead and just open the legs up one more time and then straighten that right leg. We're just going to do a couple of circles here. This is what I'm doing to help to neutralize the body or to shake that out. You can do anything that feels good to just release any tension in the legs or in the hips. Just about bringing some mobility back into the body. And then when you're ready, we're going to just do the same on the other side. So this time I'm taking a deep bend in the left knee. I'm reaching under my hips with the right hand this time to grab my left ankle with the right hand. And then I'm spiraling open in this twist to make contact with the right foot with my left hand. Gaze goes up and past the left armpit. My left rib cage is spiraling open towards the ceiling to have a lot of nice openness there. And then when you're ready, you can bring transition into half Virasana pose. I'm just writing myself on my mat a little bit. Bring the knees back in together. You can take a bend in that right foot. And then stay propped up on the elbows here if that feels good. If that feels accessible, go ahead and drop down to have it be full reclined. So bring the back fully onto the mat. Yeah, you might want to adjust your clothing here, or not. And then again, just like on the other side of half hero pose, there are a number of variations that you can take for this to feel good. You can hug the right knee in towards the chest just a little bit. Again, that can get kind of intense, kind of fast. If that's feeling good and if you want to explore something else, you can straighten the right leg, point the toe so it's nice and energized. That's also a pretty big stretch in the left quadricep. Or you can just keep the right foot on the mat with the left leg bent. Wherever you are, shaking out the tension. Again, this is a big posture, but it should feel relaxful, and there shouldn't be too much strain. So if you're finding that, back off. Maybe come up to stay propped up on the elbows or use your blocks and supports at home to have this be comfortable. We're going to come out of it just like we came in through our wide straddle. Go ahead and undo however that works and that feels good for you. This time I am going to do another forward fold here. I'm going to use some blocks and supports to just demonstrate a couple different variations, but I want this to be really fluid for you. However it works, however it makes sense. I like to use blocks or a bolster or blankets here if you have them to support the chest. You can also use those supports underneath the palms to have that be an added shoulder stretch if that feels good. Whatever feels right for you. And wherever you are, keep the toes engaged and pointing back towards the torso. So that keeps the hamstrings and the hip flexors nice and engaged throughout this series of postures. We're going to come into reverse staff pose next, just like we did before. Again, revisiting postures. I'm going to place the palms just a little bit behind the bum, and then inhale as you lift the hips. Keep the hips lifted and rising here. This is a hard posture. Big stretch for the pectoral muscles and the shoulders. Keep breathing. Hold for another breath, and then lower down whenever you're ready. Go ahead and release and shake out to lower down. We're going to move into our reclined back bends from here. So I'm going to take my 2 blocks stacked on top of each other in the horizontal position so it's nice and steady. And I'm going to place my hips at the sacrum right on top of these blocks. I'm sliding them under, again, just from that position. So once again, this should feel really comfortable. And you can play with the position on the sacrum, but it should feel restful. When you're here, go ahead and bring the right knee in towards the chest. I'm rolling the right knee just from side to side a little bit here, keeping my left hip crest nice and heavy, which will help open up the front hip. Keeping that right knee tucked in towards the chest, go ahead and release the grip if you'd like, and then straighten the right leg. Keep the right toes pointed towards the face. If you have a micro bend, go ahead and straighten that front leg, yeah. And then release down when you're ready. We're going to do the same on the other side, so bring the left knee in towards the chest. Hug that knee in. Keeping the right hip crest nice and heavy, to have this be an engaging stretch for the right front hip flexors. As it feels good, go ahead and straighten the left leg. That feels all right. Again, if it doesn't, you can just keep the leg bent. Keep those toes engaged. And then slowly lower down whenever you're ready. Moving back through this bent knee position and then eventually just straightening both legs. Pointing both toes. See how much length you can find in the legs. Imagine that someone's pulling on your ankles. Release the head and neck to release any tension. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and lift both legs, coming into a supported inversion here. This should feel like an easy inversion. The idea isn't necessarily that we're gaining any big stretch, but rather that we're shifting the flow of blood in the body, which in these times where we tend to spend a lot of time at home, this is a really nice thing to do. It's good for our immune systems. It's good for our lymph systems to keep the fluids exchanging well and efficiently in the body. Point the toes, really energize out through the legs. This is easy and restorative, but also keep it active. Stay here for as long as you need. Again, this is your practice. Feel free to pause the video. I'm also going to give the option here for you to do any other back bends, culminating back bends that would feel good for your practice. I'm going to demonstrate really quickly a bow pose. I would say if this isn't a comfortable part of your practice, I wouldn't recommend doing it without a spot, but you can, if this is a part of your practice and you do want to do it, now would be a great time. Again, we are emphasizing back bends in this class. You can also come into a bridge pose or a supported bridge pose where we just were. Shoulder stand would also be a good option right now, or anything else. I trust your body to know what it needs. So just follow the wisdom and intuition. Of these we have about 5 minutes left of this practice. So at this point, really feel free to just make this entirely your own. Otherwise, we'll come into our reclined Supta Padangusthasana. I'm bringing the right leg in towards the face. You can use a belt or a strap here at the bottom of the foot if yogi toe lock is not accessible. Legs should be nice and straight. Bring the right leg out to the right side. I'm keeping my hand on my left hip here to root that left hip down. Switch the grip, so take the right foot with yogi toe lock in the left hand. Bring the right arm out to the side to a T. And then bring the right leg across the body. So we're in this gentle reclined twist. Gaze goes out past the right hand. Stay there for as long as it feels good. When you're ready to move on, we'll bring the right leg right back up, lower it down with a lot of length, and then bring the left leg up, this time taking Yogi Toe Lock with the left foot, with the left hand. My right hand is coming to my right hip to help root that down. Bring the left leg in towards the face to start. Continuing to work into that hamstring. And then when you're ready, drop the left leg out to the left side. Once again, keeping that right hip nice and heavy. If it's coming off too much, that right hip is rising up too much from the ground, readjust and root it down. Bring the left leg back through center, switch the grip, so take Yogi Toe Lock with the right hand. Bring the left arm out to 90 degrees as the left leg comes across the body, and then the gaze goes out beyond the left hand. Our second-sided reclined twist. And then we'll come back through center and then go ahead and release that leg down. So at this point, I am going to set up for Shavasana in supported fish posture, which is how we started this practice. If you have those props at home and they're accessible to you, I would certainly welcome that you enter into Shavasana and have a full 6-minute minimum, if you can swing it, opportunity to hang in this restorative position that opens up the heart space, which again we so desperately need right now. You also have the time to do any other postures that would round out your practice, again following the intuition of your body, knowing that it knows what it needs. Be gentle with yourself here. If you can swing a full 10-minute Shavasana, I would certainly recommend it. It would be too bad to rob yourself of that beautiful peace and meditation that is so hard to come by these days. So pause the video, set yourself up, round out your practice. I'm so grateful that you tuned in. Stay in touch, take good care, and we love you, and we'll see you on the other side.